Welcome to our 2020 Parent Information Evening. Obviously it's very different this year because we can't invite parents in the way that we normally would, but it's more important than ever that parents understand how they can support their child's education at home, and that you know that we are here, we're at the end of a phone, we're at the end of an email. If you have any questions that relate to your child, we are here to help. There have been lots of successes this year, even in the face of some enormous challenges. The exam results in the summer were a huge cause for celebration. Students did phenomenally well, and it's a really strong set of results which are part of our journey of improvement that we have been on over the past few years. There will be an opportunity for you to hear from and be introduced to new members of staff, some of whom have taken over responsibility for different year groups as heads of year, and also to get all the information that you need to make sure that your child's year goes smoothly. Over the next few weeks and months, we will be communicating everything that is important and critical for you to know through our website, through email, through text message, and through our weekly parent bulletin. It's really important that parents stay in touch during this time when we can't meet you face to face. But we look forward to a time where we can return to normality and we can welcome back all members of our community into the school. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr Wadsworth. I'm the new head of Year 10 here at Haggerston. Just a quick message to say that I'm really glad to see all of our students back in school. I know it's been a really long, tough period for everyone, including teachers, but especially for students. They've missed out on a lot of learning over the past 6 months, and coming into Year 10, they're transitioning from their Key Stage 3 to their Key Stage 4 subjects and starting their GCSEs. So these 2 years upcoming now for them are really, really important. And the work that we're going to put in here with them at Haggerston is going to be their passport for their future, and we're really, really excited to share their journey. So far, since they've started back at Haggerston, I've noticed that a lot of the students have come back really engaged, really keen to be back in lessons, and as I've been walking around schools, nipping in and out, they're all in full swing. If we can encourage them to carry on working really hard, focus, sort some sort of revision timetable out so they're not being affected by the previous lockdown, then that will work great for them and for us here at Haggerston. If you've got any questions, please feel free to contact me. You can reach me by email, or if you ring in school and ask for Mr Wadsworth, they'll pass you through to me. I look forward to seeing you all soon and speaking to some of you as well. Thank you.
Academic expectations. Our academic expectations ensure students do their best and have opportunities to master knowledge and skills, not just for exams, but good learning habits for life. Coming to school equipped to learn is vital, and you'll notice that we've underlined glue stick, as that is a new feature of what we're asking young people to bring to school. I also want to highlight the scientific calculator. It's important to have the correct one so that we can embed how to use this in Year 7 and take that right the way up to their Year 11 GCSE. Also, give a little time in supporting your child to choose a reading book that interests them. They will be asked to read during the day, and I think it's really important that they have a book that they want to read, because we feel it's very important to foster a love of reading. The Knowledge Organiser contains key terms and concepts that your child needs to know for each topic in every subject. Use it to acquire knowledge, work independently, and revise. This slide makes it clear how best to support your child make progress. Get involved with their learning. Talk to them regularly about what they've learnt at school today. Support with homework. Use the Knowledge Organiser and test them. Familiarise yourself with the assessment cycle and help them prepare. The impact of homework on learning is consistently positive, leading on average to 5 months additional progress. So excellent learning habits translate into making good progress. Homework will be set on the DPR or Google Classroom. Make sure your child has the right login so she can access the work. Maybe keep a copy of it yourself. Check your child is doing their homework every night. Ask to look at it and encourage a regular, quiet working space. If you feel your child isn't getting enough homework, please contact the school, where a member of staff will be able to talk through any concerns that you have. Most of all, we want our young people to enjoy learning. We believe that we have created an exciting, dynamic curriculum that supports all students. At Haggerston, we have the highest academic expectations for all of our students. However, we also want to support our young people with their mental health and well-being. Information for students and parents on mental health, exam stress, anxiety, bullying, depression and staying safe can all be found on our website or through the Head of Year.
The Haggerston Way underpins everything we do. The Haggerston Way encompasses our culture and ethos. That is, wanting our children to be aspirational, creative, and to build character. When children demonstrate these values, we reward them accordingly. Our behaviour strategy is to lead with the positive. In school, we use a system of credits. Here you can see the children will be rewarded in line with our values, each reward being 3 credits. Sometimes students are exceptional and deserve more than 3 credits, and for this we have a citation which is worth 6 credits. This is an exceptional reward, and as such, the students will be formally acknowledged in the regular assembly, which is being delivered via video link to each base group. We also have termly celebration assemblies that further reward and recognise student success. We recognise that intrinsic motivation is not always enough. Our menu from our credit shop should help students go that extra mile. Initially, this has been suspended. Firstly, children need to build up credits in order to exchange them for the tangible rewards. And secondly, we do need a period of time of settling given the COVID considerations. Here are some of examples that you can see on the screen of what students can exchange their credits for. The early lunch pass, that is jumping to the front of the queue, is very popular and at 50 credits, good value. What you see presented are our core behaviour expectations. This is by no means an exhaustive list of rules. It is the way we expect students to conduct themselves. I'll give you a moment to look through this list. Where a student falls below our expected standard of conduct, we will correct them. We correct our students by issuing that correction. If children persistently fail to adhere to our behaviour expectations, we can and will escalate our sanction. With respect to sanctions, I'd like to clarify that we do not hold break or lunchtime detentions. Our behaviour strategy is nestled in research that clearly demonstrates that children should learn to manage their behaviour. Where a student falls below our expected standard, we issue that correction, and we have thresholds where the amount of corrections correspond to a sanction. 3 corrections in a lesson would result in being sent out of that lesson and to the reflection room. 6 corrections in a week results in an hour after school detention. The students have an opportunity to accept their error, alter their behaviour before they reach a sanction. Students therefore taking ownership of their behaviour, altering their behaviour and avoiding unnecessary sanctions. As teachers, we use class charts to allocate these sanctions. And indeed, we also use class charts to allocate rewards, which, as I previously mentioned, are called credits. Many of you have the class charts app. For those that don't, I urge you to download it onto your smartphone or regularly log in via the desktop. You can talk to your son or daughter at the end of the day and ensure that the negative behaviours aren't repeated, and praise for any positive behaviours. Naturally, we do provide support to students, such as mentoring, form tutor reports, head of year reports, and so on and so forth, to bring about any change in behaviour that is required. What I've presented now is the minutiae. This is what students get corrections for. Again, I'll give you one moment just to have a little look through that. And of course, some students do have serious negative behaviours, and here is the consequence for those serious negative behaviours. In addition to that previously shown, we have to adapt to the coronavirus. We've added these corrections that I'm presenting now. Not social distancing, repeated refusal to follow social distancing, and refusal to follow safe hygiene. It is vital for all of our safety that children comply with these sensible measures. To support students in understanding these rules, we have not followed through the regular sanctions during the induction week and indeed our first week of teaching. This adjustment period is allowing our students to become aware of the new requirements in school and adjust their behaviour accordingly. Regular sanctions will be in place from Monday the 21st of September onwards. In light of COVID-19, we've also made some adjustments to the way in which we work, as have all workplaces. You are no doubt aware that children are in year group bubbles, and to support this, they'll have a different entry point into the school. The entry points for each year group are shown there. Of course, these aren't the only coping with COVID strategies we've put in place. Here are a number of other ones. During the school day, we've reduced the amount of movement around the building by having years 7, 8 and 9 stay in the same classroom for the majority of the time. Teachers are moving to those students. Naturally, there are some points where those students will have to move to specialist rooms, such as the creative arts subjects, and this is being managed so that different year groups have minimal contact. Teachers are escorting their groups to the respective playgrounds at break and lunch, and the appropriate exit at the end of the day. This is facilitating social distancing from other year groups. And as teachers are escorting their students to their exit, we don't need to have so many different exits for each year group. But we do have a lower school exit and an upper school exit. To reduce the possible transmission of the virus, we're asking students and adults to wear a mask when moving around the school building. The students must have a plain mask with them when they come to school in the morning. They're asked to put this mask on at the start of their lineup, so when they enter the building, they are masked up, so to speak, and protected. This is an equipment expectation. Your support in this will help reduce possible transmission of the virus and keep everybody safe. If your child has a medical exemption, please provide some supporting statement to this effect. The next bullet point I'm looking at is a hand sanitizer. Your child is welcome to bring their own hand sanitizer, but it must be used upon entry to the school and indeed at the start and end of every lessons. Furthermore, we've introduced a one-way system in the main school building to avoid unnecessary mingling of students. We've introduced a split lunch where years 8 and 11 go to lunch between 11:50 a.m. and 12:45, whilst years 7, 9 and 10 go for lunch between 12:45 and 1:40 p.m. This means different year groups do not mix during the lunch break. Moreover, each of those year groups has their own separate area of the playground, so there's absolutely no mixing of the year group bubbles. Given the constraints COVID has placed upon us, we ask for your support in ensuring your child has the face mask when coming to school each morning. We'd also request that during any inclement weather, students have an adequate coat. So with respect to earrings, our rule about earrings is that they should be gold or silver looking and a small stud. We do not accept anything that sparkles. Numerous piercings all over the ear are not acceptable. Simple, plain piercings, one in each ear, is acceptable. Please ensure your children are compliant so they avoid corrections for something that is very easy to get right. We will ask students to remove piercings if they are not in line with our guidelines. And my final slide is about the shoes. You can see from the slide what shoes are acceptable and what shoes are not acceptable. We don't accept boots of any kind. Kicker shoes are fine, but kicker boots are not fine. Nor are trainers. We don't allow trainers. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for supporting your child in ensuring they arrive at school with the correct equipment and ready to learn.
This section of the presentation goes through attendance and punctuality. My name is Ms. Lewis and I'm the lead teacher for this area. There are two parts which follow. Part 1, which is some general attendance information and reminders, and Part 2, which is some COVID-19 specific information. Firstly, just a quick reminder about the importance of attendance. As you can see from the chart, there is a clear link between GCSE outcomes and attendance. If last year a child had 99 to 100% attendance, the average grade achieved across all of their GCSEs was a grade 7. This does not mean a child is guaranteed to achieve grade 7s or better with 99 to 100% attendance, but it does mean that they give themselves the best chance to do this. This child is much more likely to score top grades than a child who is only in school for 94% of the school year. Lateness to school can also have a considerable impact on a child's GCSE outcomes. If your child is constantly late to school but is here the rest of the day, so for example, the child that is very late to period 1, without the loss of any full days due to illness, this child can lose 16% of their lesson time over the week. If this repeats itself across the year, this becomes like the student who has 84% attendance over the year. And the average grade across all of their GCSEs for students that are in this category is a grade 3 or lower. It is not enough, therefore, just to attend every day. It's essential that children are on time every day as well. Excellent attendance and punctuality are life skills that we help children develop at school, although we know many of your young people will be excellent at this already. Children must be on the school site by 8:30 a.m, ready to start lessons at 8:40. It's important we work together to minimise loss of learning time for children, and a way in which we can do this concerns medical appointments. So ideally, medical appointments would never happen in the school day as students lose lesson time. If an appointment in the school day cannot be avoided, please try and schedule this as late in the afternoon as possible. The child who leaves in period 6 for a 4 p.m. appointment loses a lot less learning time when compared to the child who arrives before lunch. Equally, we are not allowed to authorise holidays in term time. If these are taken, fines do follow. We all occasionally get sick from time to time, but how does this affect the attendance percentage for your child? So if your child is not sick, has no holidays in term time and has no medical appointments during the school day, your child's attendance percentage will be 100%. If your child is unwell, for example, has flu and misses 5 days, the maximum attendance percentage for the year for your child is 97%. So for your information, if your child is absent for 6 days or more, he or she cannot achieve 97% attendance or better. And this could mean that your child is at risk of underachieving academically. Ideally, the attendance of every child across the school would be a minimum of 97 to 98% for this reason. Secondly, for your information, COVID-19 absences do not decrease a student's attendance percentage. This is because households are expected to comply in full with all public health advice regarding COVID-19. If you need to speak to a member of staff about your child's attendance or punctuality, please ring the school and ask to speak to your child's pastoral team. This could be your child's tutor, assistant head of year, or head of year. The second part of this presentation focuses on COVID-19 and attendance. So this academic year, given the lockdown, students need to be in school as much as possible whilst adhering to the self-isolation or quarantine guidelines with regards to COVID-19. We have recently sent to you our COVID-19 attendance policy addendum. This was sent to parents by email last week, and it's also available on the school website. Please read the document carefully. It is very specific as to when children can and cannot come into school. It also provides guidance for siblings. It's essential that parents follow this guidance for their household. As a reminder, the symptoms of COVID-19 are a new or persistent or continuous cough, a loss of taste or smell, a temperature. If a child has any of these symptoms, and they may have 2 or 3 of them, but if they have any one, it means the child and his or her household should self-isolate and get tested, even if asymptomatic siblings cannot come to school. A symptomatic child or a child with a positive test must self-isolate for 10 days. The rest of the household must self-isolate for 14 days. This is an example of self-isolation. Child J is a student at Haggerston and has a temperature. She has 2 siblings also at the school. The whole household self-isolates. The lengths of the isolation are, however, different. Child J self-isolates for 10 days and returns to school on day 11 if she is well. The siblings and rest of the household have a 14-day term. This is in case they develop symptoms slightly after child J. At the end of the self-isolation period, if child J remains unwell with a temperature, she should remain at home until the temperature has cleared. A COVID-19 test must be booked for child J. If a negative test is returned, and assuming child J is well, child J and her siblings can return to school once the school has been made aware. If a positive test is returned, the household must self-isolate. Please inform the school as soon as possible of a negative or a positive test result. An example of an illness such as flu and how this interacts with our guidance for COVID-19. So if you think your child has flu, so for example, your child has a temperature and feels unwell, may not have a cough or loss of taste or smell, the household, however, must still self-isolate and get tested. It has to be proven for it not to be COVID-19 before a child can return to school, as a temperature is a COVID-19 symptom. Essentially, if a COVID-19 symptom is present, the illness is to be treated as if it is COVID-19 until it is known from testing that it is not. If tests are difficult to access, keep trying, but please adhere in full to the self-isolation terms until or unless a negative test result is returned. If you are unsure about whether to send your child in with regards COVID-19, please speak with your child's head of year or assistant head of year who will be able to advise you. The safety of students and staff alike is a priority, and it's important we all work together to achieve this aim. Lastly, if your child is taken ill in school with a COVID-19 symptom, your child will be isolated. We will phone you to collect your child. Please be prompt if you are collecting your child for this reason. Siblings will be sent home at the same time.
Hello, my name is Mrs Moran and I'm Deputy Head Teacher but also the designated Safeguarding Lead, and I'm just going to take some time today to talk to you about safeguarding at Haggerston School. So first of all, I just want to direct you to one of the ways in which you can contact us if you have a safeguarding concern, and that is through the safeguarding email that you can see in blue there on the screen. You are also able to call the school up and arrange time for a phone call or a meeting with any member of the safeguarding team, and I will talk about some of those members of staff in a moment. You also can, if you have an immediate and urgent safeguarding concern, contact the First Access and Assessment team at Hackney, and the telephone number is there and is also on the school website. So key members of staff that I want to talk to you about that form part of the safeguarding team. The first is the assistant head of year for your child, and they are also a trained safeguarding advisor and can be an important contact for you if you have any safeguarding concerns. Second is Mr. Paddy. He is the deputy designated safeguarding lead, and he works with me to support the school with safeguarding. And finally, Miss Williams, who is the inclusion coordinator, who also has responsibility for safeguarding. It's really important that you know who these staff are. Safeguarding is at the heart of what we do at Haggerston School, and these are key members of staff that enable us to ensure that our students are kept safe. I also just want to point out to you a government document called Keeping Children Safe in Education. This is produced every year, and in particular this year there is an important amendment to their definition of safeguarding, and that is that mental health is now an explicit part of the definition of safeguarding, and it's a really important and a very welcome addition, particularly given the context that we are in at the moment. Just want to point out a couple of support mechanisms that we have here at the school. Aside from us as staff, we also have our school website, and there is a particular area of the school website that is focused on wellbeing and mental health. Talked about this last year, but I just want to remind parents that this is available for you if you need it, and also for our students. It's under the section called Personal Development, and it's called the Wellbeing and Mental Health section. That's what it looks like, and there's a number of different areas, including a section that's called Information for Parents. And that just lists there some of the different things that the website looks at for parents to provide support. And there are useful websites that are available on there as well. So I just want to talk to you about how we're supporting our young people as they return to school in terms of their wellbeing and mental health. So one of the reasons we had induction days and we kept our students in their tutor groups or their base groups was to provide time for the students to discuss experiences if they wish to. Having wellbeing and mental health as one of the key areas of focus for tutor time this term and for our character days is another way in which we are supporting our young people. We also will be continuing with our external support from AceBase and Young Hackney. Another aspect that I wanted to talk to you about was online safety, and this has become even more important because of the amount of time that young people have spent online over the last few months. And again, in the same area of the school website, under personal development, there is an e-safety section. On the website, this area identifies what the risks might be. It provides a parental guidance leaflet. It discusses how you can support your child to be safe, how to report concerns, and again provide some useful websites. And I would really recommend that you have a look at that and familiarise yourself with it. Key things that it also talks about is whether or not you're having regular conversations with your child about staying safe online, and it gives some really useful guidance about having parental controls, if you've considered safety tools on social networks, for example, like the privacy settings on Facebook, if you understand the devices and parental control tools that are on offer. There's a useful guide to be found on the UK Safer Internet Centre's website. And it also asks the question about whether you carry out spot checks on devices that your child uses. For example, looking at images, videos, social media, and so on. And I think it's really important, as I said earlier, that given how much time young people are spending online now, that we are all thinking about how we monitor and keep our young people safe online. That's it from me. I just want to say thank you very much. And just to reiterate that we are here for you. If you have any safeguarding concerns at all, please do not hesitate to contact us at school. Thank you very much.